Welcome to this episode of the Heartbeat for Hire podcast. I feature Olympians, CEOs, disruptors, authors, professional athletes, and the best of the best, where they share their stories of resilience with my lens on leadership and culture. Let's get started. Greetings and welcome to this episode of the Heartbeat for Hire podcast. I am delighted to bring my guest to you today. Nik Lewis is the CEO of Athlete Owned Sports. He's a Canadian Football League Hall of Famer, CFL coach and player who spent 15 years in the league. He came from Jacksboro, Texas, and he went from being a Division II walk-on to the 22nd CFL First Ballot Hall of Fame inductee. His 14-year pro football player experience in the Canadian Football League, he led the league in all-time receptions. He has coached 3 years in the CFL, and he is also the founder and CEO of AO Sports, which we're going to dig into today. I said it twice for a reason. It's very, very cool. Welcome to the show, Nik.
Hey, Lyndsay, thanks for having me on. It's an honor.
It is a pleasure to have you here. You have a great story. So that's the way I love to start every episode. So would you do us the kindness and share a little bit about your story?
Yeah, grew up in small town Texas, Jacksboro, and born and raised there. It was very different. It's 4,000 people. I like to tell people I live more varsity blues than Friday Night Lights, even though that our town had 4,000 people and our stadium seated 5,000. So everybody got a chance to come and watch a game. It was good growing up, playing sports in Texas. Although I played football, basketball is my favorite sport. But when you grow up in Texas, football is the main thing.
It's like religion.
It is. So played football, had a chance to play in a football all-star game, during at the end of my high school career. I won MVP, had a chance to play in a basketball all-star game, and it didn't go as well, even though I thought I competed well. It didn't go as well, and football was just the path for me to walk. I walked on to Southern Arkansas after that all-star game, and made it all happen there.
And how did you make the leap from American college football to Canada? Because it doesn't seem like a straight line. So
yeah, it was crazy because I've never watched the CFL. I mean, I've seen it once. I think it was like the '95 Grey Cup that was on TV. And I just remember seeing like Doug Flutie playing and some other people that I remember from college football. Sure. And so just seeing that was the only experience I had with the CFL. And when I was coming out of college, I was projected 5th round pick in the NFL. Things fell through, didn't happen, and had an opportunity to keep playing football. My mom was like, son, you're going to play for a long time. I claim it, and your Black mothers claim what you're going to do, and, you got to work hard to do it. So
it shall be. Yeah.
That's it. So I had an opportunity to come north to Canada and play football, and that's what I did. And I took the chance, and I was the last person signed to the Calgary Stampede roster in 2004, 20 years ago. And it's crazy that it's coming up on 20-year anniversary from when I signed the contract, when I got to Canada on May 17th. And, this year we'll be in training camp. And it's just going to be an amazing feeling to know, like 20 years ago, I was virtually unknown. From a Division II walk-on to you go to a pro team and, people look at, okay, who's coming in? Sure. I don't know this person. I've never heard of this person. To becoming a household name is a pretty cool journey.
Yeah, I would bet. So you spent a bunch of years as a player. I know you had a pretty significant injury during that time. You had to bounce back from that. Talk a little bit about that, and then I want to jump into your coaching journey.
One of the biggest things for me was always like my faith is always so strong in my life, but I never prayed for patience because I believe if you pray for something, you have to go through something to acquire that. Sure. So if I pray for patience, that means I'm not getting the ball today, or I'm not getting the ball for a long time. And I wasn't great at going a quarter or a half without the ball in my hand. So it was really just more, we're not going to pray for patience. But one day, I truly just said, God, I just give you everything. And that was the day I broke my leg. I had 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons. I was going for the record of 11 straight. Everything was going pretty well, I'd say, on the field. Off the field, it was kind of reckless a little bit. But that day, I felt like everything, all the pressure, everything that I went through really released. And I realized that I wasn't playing for fun anymore. I was playing to achieve things and do things.
Sure.
And it was like always like so much pressure and stress on myself. But that day really just allowed everything else to settle in my life. And when I was fortunate to come back from the injury, they didn't think I would at 31 years old, will be able to come back from such an injury. I broke my leg, and I tore every ligament in my ankle. I tore the ligament that runs from your knee to your ankle. They just thought that this was too big of an injury. I was fortunate to come back and play 4 more years after that. Get one more All-Star in my career, to get my 10th All-Star in my career. And, for me, it was one of those, or my 10,000-yard season, sorry. And for me, it was one of those things where just giving and just saying it, we all know what we're here for, but I mean, just to say it and to feel that relief, it done amazing things in my life that allowed me to enjoy the game, allowed me to enjoy my teammates, allowed me to enjoy life so much more, right? And I felt like my life shifted at that moment, and I became a better person for it.
Yeah, I do believe that when you're faced with adversity and you're given something really hard to overcome, those moments are really, truly life shaping. And whenever you have to endure something awful and you can move beyond it, the growth that you demonstrate is your superpower. And
That's it.
that's the piece that I think I really encourage people to share, because it inspires others. And they say to themselves, well, if he could do that, then what can I do? So you
Yeah.
finished 14 or 15 seasons, and did you become a coach quickly? Was that a smooth transition, or talk about that?
So I've always wanted to be a coach my whole life growing up in Texas. I never thought I'd play pro football, but it was always like, I want to coach, I want to coach, I want to coach. And yeah, I had an opportunity to guest coach in Sask with Chris Jones, and it was a great opportunity for me. I got to guest coach for 10 days. Then my mom got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, so I left the guest coaching. It was just for training camp anyway. So I left shortly and took that year off. And then one of my good friends, former teammates and business partners now, he got the head coaching job at the BC Lions, and took that opportunity with him when became a running back coach there. And then left BC after a year to build AO Sports. And last year, the president of the team called me and asked me would I be interested in coming back. Then the head coach and general manager called and asked would I be interested in coming back and helping, and that's what I did. So made a decision to come back and help and coach last year, and then I'll be coaching this year as well.
I love it. So let's pivot and talk a little bit about AO, because this is a really cool, innovative, different thing for athletes. And when you explained it to me, I was like, wow, this is really, really different. And I just want you to share kind of what inspired it, what is it, and yeah, how do athletes get involved?
100%. Being an athlete and understanding the hard work that it takes to do anything and accomplish goals, and also understanding teamwork, right? I believe my life was built off of team, allowing me to go do what I do really well. I didn't have to go make tackles. I didn't have to throw the ball. I didn't have to go do a lot of other things. I got to do what I do really well because I had great teammates around me that gave us overall success. And I wanted to build a company in that same fashion, right? Understanding how we can all work together. There's enough for everybody and we can all win. And when one person scores on the team, the whole team gets points. And that's what we wanted to build off of. So when I created the concept of AO Sports, I've seen so many friends and other athletes that were at the time were creating podcasts. This is 4 or 5 years ago. Some of them had called me. I started my podcast. Hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? And not having a lot of knowledge. And then with the changing algorithms on YouTube and other social media sites that constantly make you change or try to hinder your success or your progress from reaching these top levels. And it was just like, man, this is crazy. Like if you don't have somebody that's dedicated to understanding it, you can't succeed in this unless you have a huge name. And we know the top 1% will always be the top 1%
Right.
and be able to draw the biggest crowd, right? So I wanted to build something for what I like to say is the Hall of Famer side of myself, and also the Division II walk-on side of myself, and understand the lives of both. And we built AO Sports, and what we are is a subscription-based platform that's going to allow athletes to come on, and we're going to promote your content, not make it harder to be seen. We want more people to see it. And globally, we currently have around 100 athletes and creators signed up, 9 different countries, 16 different sports. We got some amazing young men and women that are going to be bringing content. We're going to be bringing documentaries, reality shows, just so much more content that's focused on your brand, your personal engagement with your audience, and seeing if we can deepen that engagement so that the audience is getting what they want out of it. The athletes are generating revenue at a higher clip than they would on any other social media site. And then we're just having fun together. And then, one of the biggest parts for me is dream trips, giving fans their dream trip, their sports dream trips around the world, putting on events around the world at World Cup, at Super Bowl, and different All-Star game and events, and being able to really just engage and enjoy life together, because we know as athletes we can't make money without the fans.
Yeah.
Right. And we are entertainers at the end of the day, and that's what we want to be. We want to entertain and understand how we can all be important and all be satisfied at the end of the day, knowing that we got out of it what we wanted.
So what is, I mean, you kind of talked a little bit about what's broken right now with social media, in that the algorithms don't work in our favor and people can't get the reach that they want. So how does AO compete with that? And why would an athlete care?
Yeah, right now everything's individual, right? If I go on YouTube, it's all about the individual, my efforts, me going on YouTube and posting and doing the things and trying to keep up with the changing algorithms. But on AO, what we do is we do onboarding for our athletes. So when an athlete comes on, they let us know what they want to do. And then we're able to fill in the gaps. So do you need branding help? Do you need marketing help?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need production support as far as building background sets like this, and opener and closers, lower thirds, those types of things, and just help you where you need help to maximize the opportunity for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to be motivated as an athlete to reach the levels, right? We all know through consistency there's growth. And so you have to be consistent in your effort to post content, quality content, and understand to grow your base, you're going to have to be consistent, whether that's once a week, twice a week, or once a month. Understanding consistency is the key to it all. But we have the resources around us to help you, just like your teammates, right? If you want to come in and be a receiver, we have a quarterback. We have an O-line. We have the defense. If you want to come in and do what you do well, we can put the pieces around you for you to succeed. Because our success is your success.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest thing with AO is we don't succeed unless our athletes succeed.
Visionary leaders, are you ready to elevate your leadership style and create an exceptional workplace that stands out from the crowd? I'm here to introduce you to a game-changing resource that will transform the way you lead and shape your company culture. It's time to embrace the power of top-down culture. This practical guide empowers your leadership for lasting success, helping you create a workplace where everyone thrives. Get top-down culture today, and let's reshape the future of leadership together. I love that you said that. And that is a fundamental philosophy of how I coach leaders, because
Yes.
I'm so vehemently against the leaders that claim everything as their own. And I've certainly seen it happen. I think my brother had a horrible situation where he shared an idea with his boss. The guy poo-pooed it. And 4 minutes later, they went into a senior leadership call and he pretended it was his idea. And like when you see that, it just rips your heart out. But I think when you can build on that team mentality and you can say, listen, if you do well, I do well. You're a reflection of me.
Yes.
It lifts everybody up. And I think that's such an important way to lead. So I want to talk a little bit about your coaching style, because as you know, this show is all about identifying how to give the best pathways and the best routes to getting people to be their best. So you had a lot of coaches, I imagine, and you've coached for a while. So give me some of your philosophy and some of why it resonates for your players and for the athletes in AO.
I just believe we're all different, right? There's no one road to success. Understanding when I see an athlete, it's not for me to change the athlete, it's for me to enhance the athlete.
Yeah.
And it's the same in business with my executives. It's not for me to change them or give them just say, here's the direction. It's for us to sit down and understand what we're doing collaboratively and understand how we can get the most growth and be our best use. And I've been called the chief encouragement officer because,
Yes.
my job is to encourage and understand that I will set with the telescope, right? So I have the long-term vision, but it's for you to set the microscope and understand that, the success comes from the habits you build.
Yes.
And so if I can set the telescope and show an athlete, hey, here's where I want you to get to, here's what we can do. It's for them to have the microscope and say, okay, well, I need to create this habit, or I need to do these things to now get that done. And now they become the greatest version of themselves. Because to me, I'm just a fan. I'm a fan of people. I'm a fan of athletes. And when I get to be a part of, I've been training kids for 16 years. So watching their journeys from middle school to high school to college to now some in the pros. And then even just getting this college degree and going off and being successful businessmen and women. I mean, it's just an awesome feeling to know that I had a small part of that. And it wasn't me, it was their work. I just helped them, either with their telescope or, defining some habits that they could build to really allow them to build a strong foundation.
I love that you brought up goal setting. And I think in business, people really lose sight of that. Like
Yes.
they set out and say, oh, I want to be a vice president of this division, or, oh, I want to be the best accountant, and then you're in it and you forget about those goals and you forget to check back in. And that's why I love when leaders have coaches, because we're there to basically remind you of, we set out for this to be your goal. Is that still the goal? Is that still what you want now that you've been in it? And if it is, let's act with purpose. Let's constantly remind ourselves this is the journey we're on to get there. And I think so often people confuse their goals for things they think they should do or things they think they should have. And, just like you said, you wanted to be a coach for so many years. And when you remind people of, yeah, you're already doing that, or of course you want to do that, but do you know you've already done it? Is that fulfilling to you? A lot of the times people don't even know that they've done it. So,
Les Brown said, it's not that we set our goals too high and miss, we set our goals too low and hit. Right. And people become satisfied with hitting their goals, and then they don't create other goals. And, going into 2020 when I created AO Sports, I really created this mindset of, I'm going to climb this mountain. Right. And going into that year, nobody knew what was going to happen. And I said, it's going to be a very challenging year for me, but I didn't approach it where I said, here's the goals I'm going to set. I said, look, I'm going to climb this mountain. I don't care what happens, I'm climbing. And I don't know what the terrain's going to be. I don't know what the weather's going to be. I don't know anything about the mountain other than every day I'm going to wake up and climb. COVID happens, it changes plans. But my mindset was already set from the beginning that I want a difficult mountain because I know if I climb it, I know what's on the other side, right? When you get to the top of it, you're going to look over, you're going to see a taller mountain. And then you're like, okay, well, let's go get that one, right? And then you're going to continue to do that year in, year out. And I believe that's why we as people always set a goal at the beginning of the year, a New Year's resolution, and it's so easy to get off of it because we think it's going to be easy to obtain, and it's not. And if it is easy to obtain, then you wasted your time setting it, right? Let's go challenge ourselves and let's go fail. Let's go
Mm,
fail, fail,
I love
fail,
that.
fail, and then we'll go win together, right? And we'll finally get there. And when you do, it's going to be so satisfying and so worth it.
I love that. Yeah, you always learn more from failure than you do from success. And
Yeah.
I love that this is the way you think. I think it's so, so great. So, Nik, what inspires you?
Oh man, I really believe that it's my family. Raised by my grandparents, my brother, my mom and dad, like my brother and sisters, and it's one of the biggest things for me is understanding how I can just help people.
Yeah.
And for God to give me this story is truly amazing, and for me to know that I can always overcome, but I can always help other people overcome. And for a long part of my life, dealing with mental health, and at an earlier age, it was like when I couldn't find value in myself, I found it in helping others,
Yeah.
right? And now that what inspires me is like, man, I've lived a great life. I want to live even better life, but I want other people around me to live great too, right? So that's really my inspiration is how many people can I help, and how far can we take this thing?
Mm. And what's next for Nik Lewis?
The launch of AO Sports in 2024, and being able to launch our beta, get us to a point to where we're moving forward, launch the official platform, and just see how many athletes and sports content creators that we can help and bring more exciting people into our ecosystem that are want to work with athletes and want to share the success, right? And be a part of it. Because if we have people, and I always say this about championships, the coolest part of the championship is everybody on the team, every fan of that team wakes up on one day and says, we have one goal by the end of the day. We're going to be champions. Like, how powerful is that?
Mm.
You have millions of people that all wake up on one day and have one goal. It's not to go do anything else. It's
Yeah.
one goal. We're going to be champions. And I believe if we can get to that same place in life where there's a lot of people that's encouraged and understanding that it's game day or championship day and they have one goal, we can move mountains.
Yeah. I love that. What would you like your legacy to be?
You know, just that I cared. Um, I hope it's not just football. I hope it's that I was a caring person. That I know somebody out there. I'm probably the worst person to them. There's somebody out there. I'm the greatest person to them. Somebody out there that depends on the day you meet someone and the circumstance you meet them and different things. But I just hope that at the end of the day, people know that I cared, and I spent my life trying to improve not only myself but the ones around me.
Mm. Well, you are well on your way, my friend, and
Thank you.
it is very cool to watch. You are inspiring so many people around you, and I love that you are giving this platform to athletes to own their own course. And I
Yeah.
think, it takes, people our age and older who have experienced, some of the tough stuff
Yeah.
to help you chart that course to success. And I think it's great that you're building it. And I cannot wait to
Thank
see
you.
it launch. When is the launch date?
We don't have a launch date set right now. We're finalizing some things, but we're looking at some this summer,
Okay.
getting the beta launched and getting going. But just what you're saying, I know that with my journey, I needed to go through each and everything for me to get to AO, right? And it's like God will hand it over when you're ready for it. And it's one of those things that if I didn't go through some of those things, I wouldn't have been prepared to handle this at the magnitude that this could be.
Yeah, I love it. Nik, how do people find you? Where do they follow AO Sports? Give us all the deets.
Yeah, AO's at AO Sports TV on all the socials, and then mine is Nikel 1818. So Nikel 18, Nickel 18. You can find me on all the socials as well. I'm not much on TikTok, but Nik
Okay.
Lewis on LinkedIn, Nik.
We'll
Lewis
post all your socials and I will tag you in all
else.
the places when the episode airs. But my friend,
Yeah.
it has been a joy and a pleasure hearing your story. Any parting words you want to leave the guests or the audience with?
No, I just want to say thank you for sharing your spotlight on others and allowing them the space to come on and share. And I'm very appreciative of that, and just understanding that we can all do this, and it's not always supposed to be easy. And just know your hard days are preparing you for your greatest days and your toughest challenges. And I look forward to looking across the top of my mountain and seeing you on the top of your mountain, and then understanding how we can come together to climb bigger mountains.
I dig it. You said that so beautifully. I will not touch it with anything else, but I'm going to say thank you so much for being a great guest. And everyone, if you like this episode, please go out to the YouTube channel, subscribe, leave a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple. Thank you all for listening. Lead with heart. Take care of yourselves. Nik, I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Heartbeat for Hire. I hope you enjoyed what you heard. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel or consider leaving a 5-star review and a great rating at Spotify or Apple. Thank you so much for your support. Have a great day.